you can articulate those kinds of rolls and rudiments with ease. As a snare drummer, you have really three things you need to be thinking about a lot. These are the things that I have found most important over my 22 years of teaching band. And that is grip. We have to have a good grip. We have to have a certain posture with our body, and the drum has to be a certain height. Now, these are the most important things. If you can concentrate on these a little bit every day, you're going to be very successful in how you play the drum. How can you produce a roll like that and have control? Number one, you need to have a thumbprint. Imagine you're taking your thumb and you actually have ink on your thumb and you're pressing into a piece of paper that amount of pressure you need when you put onto the drumstick. Where does your thumb and index finger go on the stick? Well, take the stick and produce 3 equal parts. Divide it into 3, and right here is where you grab the stick. You want to be holding the stick 1/3 down. If you have a pair of Vic Firth SD General drumsticks, they have an American flag right here, which is kind of cool because that's right where you put your thumb. Either way, you could just divide your stick into thirds, and then you could put a Sharpie dot or a little piece of tape right here, and that will tell you where to always put your thumb. Now, your thumb and your index fingers, they cross. They should make what looks like a cross like this. So take the crease of your first finger and put that right on the stick like that. And then take your back thumb and put that pressure, and it should look like this. When you're looking at your thumb and your first finger, you should see a little bit of blood coming to the surface of your finger because you're putting pressure into that stick. That pressure, if you had none of these 3 fingers, that pressure would be enough. It's kind of like writing on a piece of paper with lines. If you had no lines, you can still write. But if you have lines on there, there's just a guide that kind of helps keep you there. These 3 fingers back here, they do not control the stick. They don't grip the stick. All they do is just provide a little bit of a guide to kind of help hold the stick a little bit. So now that you've got that thumb and that first finger, that index finger and that thumb in a cross, now let the other 3 fingers just gently wrap around the stick. They're not gripping the stick. These 3 fingers are just gently curled around the stick, just like that. As a snare drummer, you always want to be bending at the wrist. Make sure you're bending at the wrist. You're not moving your forearms or your elbows or your shoulders. One way to get used to that is to take one hand and hold that shoulder and play. Then drop down, hold your elbow to make sure your arm's not moving. Then reach up and grab your forearm, grip it here, to just verify that you're bending with your wrist. That would be a great warm-up to do, especially in the first year of starting to play snare drum. Maybe produce 20 hits on the snare drum that sound very even with holding your forearm. And then, of course, switch hands and do it. Hold this arm. And you'll always find your non-dominant hand, which for me is my left hand, is the most difficult to control, and it's the greatest thing to work on, because if you can get your non-dominant hand really controlled and strong, it makes everything better. The angle of your sticks need to be coming down. If you see this from the side, you can see the sticks are coming down. They're not flat, because if they're flat, you'll hit the edge of the drum oftentimes, so you want the sticks coming down. In order to do that, you want to have this drum up to the height of about your belt. If you're wearing a belt and your belt buckle was right here, this would be the height of the drum. You're going to bring your elbows up a little bit, not like this, not out, but nice and comfortable, so your sticks are coming down. Then the next thing, you want your sticks to be in an upside down V. This looks like a V to you, but to me it looks upside down. You don't want to have this, and you don't want to have them parallel, and you don't want them to be at a 90-degree angle either. You want about an upside down V, about a 45 or 60-degree angle. Next, where do you hit the drum? We don't want to hit in the very center, and we don't want to hit on the edge. We want to hit somewhere between the center and the edge, about halfway in between. You can find the sweet spot on your drum just by going and finding where that best sound that you like is. So with all these attributes in place, you've got the snare drum or your drum pad, whatever you're playing on, about the height of your belt. You have your thumbprint. You've got your index finger creating a cross there. The last 3 fingers are just gently curled around. We are bending at our wrists. The sticks are coming down. We have an upside down V. We are halfway between the center and the edge. And again, this drum is about the height of our belt. And if you have all those things in place, then you can start doing your warm-ups for the day. And the one that I like to warm up with a lot is called 8-4-2-1 pancakes. 1, 2, 3, 4, right. left. Nice and even. You can take any notes and produce a warm-up. You can just play straight quarter notes and make it the goal that your right and left sound the same volume. You could do 4 on one side and 4 on the next side and try to make them sound balanced in the same volume. No matter what you do, aim for having balance. Good balance between your rights and your lefts. If you notice one stick is coming way high in the air, bring them back down. What I often do as a band director is I'll come and place a stick over the top of my player's stick so they can't come above this right here. Your band director might tell you 6-inch height or 9-inch height or no higher than 3 inches. I like to say 6-inch height is about where I like to play. So the height of my sticks coming off the drum is about 6 inches. As you will find all throughout music, nothing is solid, nothing is black and white, except the notes on a piece of paper. You might find other reasons to play higher or reasons to play lower. Different dynamics, different types of articulations, different types of strokes, different types of rudiments might call for a different stick height, and your band director can lead you through those. In Sharps and Flats with Kingsley, we basically stay about 6 inches high, and that's going to produce a good, nice balance for you. So just to recap, to go through those 9 points, we have our good thumbprint, putting good pressure. We have good cross right there, and it looks like a T. We are 1/3 back on the stick with our thumb. Maybe you've put a Sharpie dot, maybe you've put a piece of tape there, or if you have the Vic Firth SD General 1s, you can put your thumb on the American flag there. These 3 fingers just gently wrap around. We're always bending at the wrist. We've worked on that by holding our forearms and done that. The sticks are coming down. The angle is coming down. They're not flat. We have an upside down V right here. We are halfway between the center of the drum and the edge, somewhere in between, to find that sweet spot that sounds the best. And the drum or your drum pad is about the height of your belt, and then you are ready to go. Sometimes, sure, just start playing. Grab that drum and just start playing and have fun. You always need to have fun. But the majority of the time, when you're going to sit down or stand up and practice for real, make sure you're starting up with a warm-up. Make it a habit that when you do start playing, you practice good grip, good stance, good technique, and do a warm-up. When you are practicing Sharps and Flats with Kingsley, take one measure. Maybe just repeat that measure over and over, starting with your right, then with your left, going for balance, watching your stick height, thinking about all the things that produce good posture, that produce good sound by making it easy. Take an easy measure, maybe something like this. So I started on my right, now I'm going to go on my left. And I'm watching my forearms, I'm watching my wrists, I'm thinking about my 3 fingers being gently curled and not gripping. I'm thinking about all the things that you don't want to have to think about anymore. Because once those things can become solid in you and you don't have to think about technique anymore, then you can go, you can articulate those kinds of rolls and rudiments with ease, and that is the point of why we really work on technique. Now, go warm up, go practice on purpose, and go have fun. Always have fun, and practice smarter, not harder. Stay sharp.